A very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Let's first start off with a look at the stories that made it to your headlines this afternoon. Former Governor of the Central Bank, Arjuna Mahendran, arrives at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Nurses of some governmental hospitals refrain from work. An individual stabbed to death in Hikadwa. And in your international arena, at least 38 killed after Haitian bus plows into parade. Now starting off with a look at your local news. First, former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran arrived at the premises of the Presidential Commission appointed to look into the central bank bond controversy once again today. Newsfirst's Zulfiq Farzan reports.
Former Governor of the Central Bank, Arjuna Mahendran, arrived once again this morning at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to investigate and inquire into the issuance of treasury bonds. Now, he is here at the premises to provide a statement to the detectives that are assisting the Commission in its investigation. Of course, Mr. Mahendran is giving a statement to the detectives and that is not open to the media. However, on the other end of the Commission, evidence is currently being recorded from one of the Central Bank officials with regard to the impugned treasury bond auction dated 27th of February 2015. For now, that is the latest update from the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. I'm Zulfiq Farzan for Newsfirst.
Thank you, Zulfiq. Now moving on to more local news. Patients in a number of hospitals have been severely inconvenienced owing to the absence of nurses who had refrained from work at a number of government hospitals around the country.
Even though the strike action is being launched by the Public Services United Nurses Union, the Government Nurses Association and the All Island Nurses Union withdrew from rendering its support to the strike action. Director General of the National Hospital Anil Singh has said that a number of nurses have refrained from their duties today. Laboratory services, sale of pharmaceuticals, providing x-rays, scans and similar activities have been hampered by the strike action. Meanwhile, nurses at the Kandy General Hospital and Peradeniya Hospital have reported to work with activities at the hospital being carried out without any hindrance. Our correspondent said that nurses from hospitals in the districts of Vaunia and Anuradhapura have also reported to work. The nurses in the north had decided to report to work in order to attend to the 400 patients diagnosed with the AH1N1 virus.
There are a number of grievances that are being put forth. We had asked for a discussion, but all our grievances were just restricted to mere words. We have 7 demands, including a request to grant permanent appointments for officers who have been employed for close to 12 years. The granting of promotions to nurses who have been working for 5 years, and the granting of allowances which were promised by the previous administration.
Speaking in response, Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Anuruja Vikrama, had this to say.
We have come to know that a protest is going to be staged today. We have, however, held discussions with the relevant unions about the demands which were put forth. As the Ministry of Health, we are taking all the possible steps to resolve the matter. We have no idea why these trade union protests are being staged. What we can see through this is that they are doing something that need not be done at this point in time. They are disregarding the decision made by the ministry.
Still in local news, the doctor responsible for the death of a woman who was admitted to a private hospital in Katugastota was presented before courts yesterday. Now, according to police, the doctor was presented before courts through a lawyer. According to the police media unit, the suspect was released on bail after being produced before court. A 25-year-old mother of 3 died after receiving anesthesia for surgery. She was admitted to hospital yesterday. The magisterial inquiry into the death will be conducted today. The Essential Commodities Importers Association notes that a kilogram of white sugar will have to be sold at a price between 110 and 115 rupees in the near future. Now, Chairman of the Association, Nihal Senaviratne, notes that the cost incurred to import a kilogram of sugar amounts to 105 rupees. He also noted that they incur losses for transportation as well. The price is subject to change. There is a shortage of sugar in India due to the weather condition there. The price is increasing because we cannot import from India. There was an issue with the control price for 2 months. We made submissions to the officials because we were incurring losses, taking into consideration the state of the rupee and the taxes involved. At this time of unloading, a kilogram of sugar costs between 103 and 105 rupees, so the importers are suffering losses. Now in some weather news, District Secretary of Badulla Nimal Abesiri notes that the incessant rains in the area have put over 5,000 families at risk of being affected by landslides and earth slips.
මදුල්ල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ දැඩි අවදානම් කලාපය, මධ්‍ය අවදානම් කලාපය සහ අඩු අවදානම් කලාපය වශයෙන් ගත්තොත් පවුල් 5000කට වැඩි සංඛ්‍යාවක් දැඩි අවදානම් කලාපවල ජීවත් වෙනවා. If you take the high risk, medium risk and the low risk areas in the Badulla district, there are nearly 5,000 families living in high risk areas. Disaster management officials, the army and the police have informed the people of what to do in case of an emergency. We have established rain gauges in several areas and trained locals to read them. They use these gauges to understand if there is a danger and take the necessary steps. මිලිමීටර් 75 වැස්ස වසිනකොට ඒගොල්ලොන්ගේ සෑම යම් ප්‍රදේශවල අපි වර්ෂාමානක සවි කරලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ අනුව පුරුදු පුහුණු කරන ලද නායකත්වයේ දන්නවා වර්ෂාව කොච්චරද කියන්නේ ගැන. ඒ අනුව ඒගොල්ලෝ විතන්නෙනවා ඒගොල්ලොන්ගේ ආරක්ෂිත ස්ථානවලට.
Meanwhile, the Met Department predicts that the Central Hills could experience heavy rains throughout the day. Coming up next is Crime Watch. An individual who suffered serious injuries in a stabbing in the Patuwata area in Hikkadua succumbed to his injuries after being admitted to the hospital. According to the police, the victim, a 72-year-old resident of Dodandua area, passed away at around 1 a.m. Police noted that the incident may have occurred due to a personal dispute, adding that the main suspect had fled the area. Now, meanwhile, a body was discovered in the Divighavela area in Karadenia. According to the police, the victim was a 30-year-old resident of the area. The police noted that the body was discovered in the Divighavela junction, adding that there was no visible bruising on the body. The victim is believed to have been a trader in the public market in the area who had been an alcoholic. Now, moving on to more local news, the remains of a cadet officer who committed suicide by hanging himself in the Diatalava army camp in 2015 were exhumed today. The remains were exhumed from the Valiveria public cemetery. The remains were exhumed following a complaint made by the family of the deceased cadet officer to the CID, stating that the death was suspicious. On the 9th of this month, Bandarwala Magistrate Ruwan Gunasekara issued an order to exhume the remains and recommence investigations. Thereby the remains were exhumed and submitted for tests. According to our reporter in the area, Judicial Medical Officer of Colombo, Ajit Thenakon, was also present at the occasion. Now, in more local news, General Secretary of the JVP Tilvin Silva says that the government's recent attempt to restrict protest is synonymous to a band aid approach. He made these remarks at a rally which was held in Tangol yesterday. They're attempting to bring a new law to restrict protests. The government is going to introduce a new method of protesting by restricting it to one protest a day. So now there will be a new protest in order to fight for the right to protest. What will the government do? They're asking for more than what they can handle. If they want to stop protests, there is only one resort. They should heed the requests of the public and provide them with a proper response.